I'm Gabby.
And I'm Shanna.
And we're 27 Travels.
And we are going to be showing you how to spend one day in Washington, D.C. So right now we are actually at the Lincoln Memorial, which is probably one of the most iconic things you could see here. It's right behind us. But there's also a lot of really cool history, monuments, buildings, the president. There's so many things that you could see in Washington, D.C. And it's actually my first time here, so I'm really excited to explore.
Yeah, I've been here once or twice before, but I was really young. And to be honest, this is the only thing I truly remember doing. And I remember it being super cool, and it is.
So we're going to show you everything you could possibly need to see with one day in Washington, D.C. So one of our first stops was coming to the coffee bar, which is in the Logan Circle area of DC. The coffee is really, really good, and it's a perfect little way to warm up, and they have outdoor seating.
Yeah, we really needed it because we got up at 6 a.m. today, which is really, really early, especially for me.
Okay, so now we're at an area called Blagden Alley. I don't know if we're saying that correctly, but it has like really amazing street art, and we are obsessed with the rainbow street art behind us. It actually spells out love in rainbow, and our friend Troy, who lives in DC, actually told us that the artist is a lesbian, which is so cool.
Yeah, so thank you, Troy. People actually gave us really good suggestions for things to go see in DC, and we're so glad we didn't miss this because this area in general is so cute. There's so much amazing street art, not just this street art. And I'm gonna say who did it actually. This piece is by Lisa Marie Studios on Instagram, so go check her out. And I mean, this piece is just awesome, and so is the rest of the art in this whole like alley area. It's so cool. Right now we are in front of the Washington Monument. You can probably see it above our heads, but it was dedicated to the first president, who is George Washington. It was built in 1884. How crazy is that?
Actually, at one point it was the tallest building in the world, which is so crazy because there are so many buildings taller than it right now, but I mean, it is still pretty tall. I mean, look, it's like right there.
Yeah, so you can actually go really, really close to it, and normally if COVID wasn't happening, you could take a tour of it, which we're not sure that we would do anyway, but it's really cool. We can still go up really close and check it out.
So the Washington Monument is actually located in this area of Washington, D.C. called the National Mall. And it's kind of where like all the big like monuments and buildings and statues are located.
Yeah, basically everything is over here. The Smithsonian, the Lincoln Memorial, there's just everything if you walk around this area. A lot of different museums as well, and it's super walkable. It's like really easy. I feel like everything's kind of close to each other, and so far we've more or less walked everywhere.
One of the things that we really wanted to come do in Washington, D.C., but sadly it's not open because of COVID, is go to the Smithsonian Museum. And that is because Gabby and I love the TV show Bones. And in Bones, they like basically work in like the Jeffersonian, which is like
just the Smithsonian, basically.
Yeah.
It's like their version of it for the show without using the name Smithsonian. But we wanted to come back and reenact that, but we can't go in.
Sadly, we can't. We'll have to come back.
We researched before we came here and knew that it was closed because of COVID, so we're just gonna have to come to Washington, D.C. another time and go and live our fantasy of being Booth and Brennan.
Right behind the Lincoln Memorial is actually the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool, and it seems like it's really long, but apparently it's only half a mile long.
Yeah, it's kind of an optical illusion though, because it looks so small from this angle, but then when you're walking it kind of feels like forever.
And right behind the reflecting pool is the Washington Monument. So we've been walking around the National Mall area, but next up we're going to the White House and we're going to see Joe and Kamala from across the street.
We're so ready to see them from afar. And not at all, but we know they're in there.
We hope they're in there.
And you you guys see it? It's right behind us.
Okay, so that is actually the White House right behind us. So this is as close as you can get right now. Like the whole area is blockaded off, so we can't get any closer than this, but maybe if you come at another time, you might be able to get a little bit closer. Gabby said the last time she came to DC, she was able to kind of go in the front, which is like right there.
Yeah, I was way closer and had a really different view, but it was also like 10 years ago. So I'm sure if you come here in a year or a few years, it'll probably be different than this. But right now it's definitely blockaded off, but it's still cool to see.
It's really cool. Like the president and the vice president are in there.
Let's wave to Joe and Kamala.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Kamala.
Hi, Kamala. We love you.
So I think one of my impressions of the White House is that it's actually a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. We're making sure we're not going to die.
We're making sure our car was not about to hit us.
So the White House is a lot bigger than I thought. Like I feel like when you just see photos of it from the front, it looks kind of like, not small, but just like maybe like a normal size mansion. Whereas like it is massive. Like I don't know.
When you see how many rooms are there, it's
like
crazy.
This is the
side.
front to the back. Like look at all those rooms.
Yeah, there's definitely hundreds of rooms in there. I bet we could Google the exact number. It probably says it somewhere. So I just Googled it. The White House has 132 rooms, 35 bathrooms, 6 levels. There's 412 doors, 147 windows, 28 fireplaces, 8 staircases, and 3 elevators. That is very specific. Thank you, Google.
See, a very, very, very big house. We're in a new area now. We're actually in the Georgetown area of Washington, D.C. And we're just walking around, exploring. It seems like there's a lot of shopping over here, and there's a riverfront that we're going to go to later.
So this area is actually really interesting. Shanna and I were just saying, like, it feels like in comparison to New York, a mix of like Soho and Bushwick, like in one. There's like some like luxury shops that we definitely don't go in and we can't afford, mixed with like cool graffiti and some like smaller shops that are really like local and cool.
Just like stumbled across this little alleyway while we were walking, and the street art is so cool, and it seems like it's all about DC becoming a state, because as of right now DC is just like a territory. It's not actually a state, so they don't have a lot of rights and laws that come with being an actual state. So DC has been trying to get statehood for a really long time now, and this graffiti is kind of explaining why.
Shop Made DC. It was such a cute store.
So basically it seems like it's like a local store chain that they have around DC, because there are a few locations, but what we really loved about that store is like it highlighted the local artists. So there was like a little like piece of paper that kind of showed you like who the local artist was and their shop and what they make. So that was really, really cool. So if you're ever in DC, make sure you check out Shop Made DC, because it is such a cute store with a bunch of local artists and local businesses.
Yeah, we might have bought a few postcards to send to people, so like if you get one in the mail in like a month, you know who you are. Just saying it.
So we've made it to the Georgetown waterfront, which is just this nice little pretty walk along. I don't know what kind of water this is, maybe a river? I would guess a river, that's my guess.
It is really pretty over here though, and we tried to make it for sunset, and I think we kind of got it.
Yeah, we got it. The sun is setting right there, right about now. It might be a little too bright, but
yeah, we're about to lose it behind a building, but it's really pretty.
It's really, really pretty, and I'm really glad we came here because it feels really nice after like a long day of exploring to just like chill and watch the sunset.
Yeah, it is really relaxing. I definitely vote sunset person. I think it's so nice to catch the sunset, but if I see sunrise, I'm grumpy.
So this is the end of our how to spend one day in DC video. Hopefully it was helpful for you guys. We tried to do as much as we could because that's just how we roll whenever we travel.
Yeah, but we loved exploring DC. It is such a fun city, and we definitely recommend coming and seeing all the amazing things there are to see here.
I don't know if we mentioned this, but we were actually here because my brother lives in Arlington, Virginia, which is just across the river, and he actually works at the Pentagon, so we were staying with him, and we only have one day here because tomorrow is supposed to have a big snowstorm, so we can't go out. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video. Bye!